Hi, I'm Drew Carpenter. A while back, I had a reason to kill, and I'm gonna explain why. So, my science teacher, Mr. Bertozzi, um, has given me a lot of F's over the years, and it finally built up enough anger in me to do something about it. So, um, I came up with a plan. This plan's very sophisticated, and I believe, well, at the time, I believed that it was going to work out, and it ended up working out. But I'm going to explain to you how I did all that. And after I got all these F's, I thought it out in my head for a while, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. So I, uh, I decided to get some clothes together for what I was going to wear when I did it. Um, I had on black pants, I had a black sweatshirt, a black ski mask, and I was wearing dark boots. I had saran wrap over my boots, and I also was wearing gloves, rubber gloves, disposable rubber gloves that no prints, shoe prints or fingerprints or anything could uh, be placed on anything inside of his campsite, which is where I did kill him. Um, but I decided I was going to use a 38 special revolver to do the killing, and the body, I didn't even touch it. I didn't even touch him whenever I killed him. I shot him. I didn't touch a single thing except for the doorknob with my gloves on, and after I shot him, I walked directly out, locked the door back. I headed back to my car, but my alibi for that night that I was home asleep because I snuck out of my house a little before midnight, around midnight, and I drove out to his camp, and I had an extra set of clothes in my car with a trash bag for the stuff I was going to dispose of. I drove out there, I parked at the beginning of the road to his camp, and about an hour after I left, I ended up at his campsite, and I picked the doorknob with the lock picking kit, and I walked in, shot him, and as I said, as soon as I shot him, I walked straight out, and then walked back to my car, and took off all the clothes, everything I used in the murder, except for my boots, the only pairs of shoes I had, but put all that in the trash bag, got changed, then I drove home, and once I got home, I took all the things I was going to dispose of, and I started a fire, put it in the fire, and I let it burn until there was nothing left but ash, basically. And when it was all said and done, I was back inside around 3:30 in the morning. Parents didn't even know I left, didn't even know I came back in. I went straight to bed. Was up all night thinking about it, but so I didn't really expect to be a main suspect in the case because it was going to be it was at least a day before they discovered his body, and there was really no evidence that I left behind there that that would have placed me as a suspect. So it's pretty much how I murdered him. So I'm gonna take you back to that moment, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Arrived at the campsite. Cut. So yeah, that's how I killed my science teacher, Mr. Bertozzi. After I disposed of all the evidence, I went inside, placed my gun back where it was, tools I used to get the door open, I put those back where they were, and I went to bed that night. And weeks and weeks went on, and they were finding no clues, no evidence, nothing. They didn't even have an idea of a suspect, because it just seemed so strange of just one night he's out of this camp and then the next day he was murdered. And as a high school student, I really didn't think that they were going to assume it was me in any way, because there was really no evidence that I did leave behind. And all the evidence that was still there was all burned to ashes. So, yeah, I've been off free since it happened, and I'm loving life, and not getting F's anymore. But so yeah, I don't think I'll ever be suspected as being the person that did it. So I'm just gonna keep living.